To Pro Wrestling Inside Now. This is our top 100 series, and we are at number 90. Now, to some folks, my number 90 made some folks upset. Some were happy. Some of them said he should have been further down on the line. But mine is Daniel Bryant, which, from all reports, heading to the AEW. I believe that Daniel Bryan, I think as far as a professional wrestler, he is the closest to an old school professional wrestler that is wrestling out there today. I truly feel that he deserves to be in the top 100. He's a great wrestler. Jack, your thoughts on Daniel Bryan?
I agree. I've always enjoyed watching him wrestle. He is one of the few that, to me, can actually still go in there and tell stories with what he's doing. And I understand, that everybody gets constrained with, things written out for him. But it seems to me like he makes the most of the limits that he has. And the Yes movement shows that. I mean, that is the most organic movement that I have seen. And he's really, truly could have been the major breakout star, the first one since The Rock. But every time they would get him to that level, Vince would knock him down again because he just didn't fit his mold.
And it was ridiculous because he was over. That little yes thing was tremendous. And I never understood why they didn't go any further with that. Well, he turned him heel. That didn't make any sense when he was over so well. It just showed they didn't want him to get over. Rodney, number 90, Daniel Bryant. What do you think about Daniel Bryant?
I'd like to wish him all the luck at AEW. This is where the wrestlers run the show. He should be fitting real good over there. So it should be perfect for him. And I wish him the best of luck over there.
This is the thing about Daniel Bryant, though. He is the only person that I have watched from that company, except for Adam Cole, by the way. I think he's still in NXT, I believe. Yep. But he is the only person that actually did wrestling. He actually wrestled on the show. And I always thought he was the closest to that. And so that's the reason that I have to put him down in the top 100. All right. Number 90.
Full disclosure, I've probably seen him wrestle about 3 times.
Well, then that's probably the reason you've
and because of the 3 times that I watched wasn't worth going back to see again.
Well, okay. Oh, grumpy Rodney.
Well, no. I'm just I have to be honest about it. I honestly, and of course, that's not to say anything about him. At the time that he was being pushed, I wasn't interested in the show at all. Period. I hadn't watched it. The first time we watched it was last year, and the first time in 5 years I actually watched the show. So there you go.
All right. So he doesn't like Daniel Bryant. So
I did not say I didn't like Daniel Bryant, but I would be hard pressed till you'll find him on my list.
Okay. Well, hey, at least it ain't. He may or may not be.
Well, I mean, he may or he could not.
He's not on the list. I think we know he's not on the list.
Honestly, right. I think I've watched him wrestle about 3 times.
He is very good, though. I think he's a very good wrestler. I think that as far as old school wrestling, he's the closest to old school wrestling.
And he was trained by Shawn Michaels and our friend Rudy Gonzalez.
Yeah, they're very good, very very good wrestler. As far as a new school, so those people who say, "Oh, Brent don't like nothing about the modern day wrestling," that is not true. Because I do like Adam Cole, I do like Daniel Bryant, and I like I think they call him Walter. He could be Walter. From Europe and from European. I think they're the European. He might be the European champion, but I think he's tremendous in the ring. So there is modern day wrestling that I do like, and there's a lot of wrestlers out there very, very good. There are some that's bad too, but that's a different story. All right, Rodney, number 90 on your list, top 100.
Tony Anthony.
The dirty white boy. Yeah,
outstanding wrestler. No matter what match I don't think I've ever seen him in a bad match ever. And I've seen more than 3 matches of his over the years. And some of the great matches, him and Jerry Stubbs against the Nightmares just tore the house down. he always gave 100%. Always gave 100%. And on my list, there he is, number 90.
All right, I will agree with that. I have no problem with Tony Anthony being on there. I think he was really pretty good from the beginning. From the start, he was pretty good. Trained by Rick Connors, by the way. Rick Connors, great professional wrestler out of East Tennessee. Also, Tim Horner. Rick Connors also trained Tim Horner and a couple other guys that is escaping right now. He may have even trained Buddy Landell. Not for certain about that.
Can't remember.
But he may have. And anybody that came out of Knoxville at that time, Rick Connors might have had something to do with it. Okay, Jack, number 90 on your list.
I went way back. Sailor Art Thomas.
Yes. He's very good.
I will go for that. I agree with him. I think he was one of the top wrestlers of that time. What year did he wrestle? What's the years that he wrestled? Jack?
He was 50s, 60s primarily. I think he may have lasted into the 70s, but by the time I got to where I could go to shows, I didn't see him. But I was enthralled with that physique he had. So I saw him in all the wrestling magazines. I always, liked, the way he looked. And it wasn't until the advent of YouTube that I was able to go back and watch some of his matches. But he certainly, to me, is one of the best of the old school.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. All right, y'all ready to see what the insiders have got to say?
Unleash them.
By the way, if you want to become a Insider Nation supporter of the channel, you can go to our Facebook page, hit become a supporter. We're kind of doing something a little different with the supporters now. At 8:20 on Monday and Tuesdays, following this show, we actually are doing shows where it's just the Insider Nation. They get to ask the questions. They get to be a part of the show. And before we were just doing little 10-minute segments, but now we do a whole 45 minutes of and talk about a certain subject. We talked to Rodney. One of Rodney's great subjects we did last night was the Wrestling War of Knoxville, and that will be coming up on YouTube very soon. Go ahead and watch that. Rodney had some good stuff to say about the War of Knoxville. I think we all really did in that.
It's one of the great tragedies in the business. Seriously, it really was. And
we talk about it in length. And so that will come up on our YouTube channel, I think sometime next week. So if you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please get over there and do that, because a lot of things fixing to come to the YouTube channel. So get over there and get it. Richard Hood, how you doing, sir? Good to see you, Richard Hood, and part of the Insider Nation as well. Glenn Allen Shelton is with us. Carl Smith, I think that's how you would say his name. Hello from the Mid-South. Michael is with us as well. How you doing, Michael? Good evening, everyone. Mickey Mayfield. Hope everyone is staying cool. It's still 89 in Georgia.
Yes.
Yeah, I think when you go out, you melt just a little bit when you go out there. It is hot out there.
You walk out and it reminds you're in the summer. There you go.
Hey, my street, just not a half a block from me, is completely flooded from a big rain that we just had to come through.
Wow.
Hello from Michael Barr, another one of our Insider Nation. Kevin Penley is with us. Number 90, Bobby Shane. Jack, what do you think, Bobby Shane?
I definitely belongs on the top 100 list. I mean, that guy was strapped to a rocket. Should have been a major star.
Oh, absolutely. And there's not very much for Bobby out there that you can go and see. We never saw him live that I can remember. But Dad spoke of him very highly. And it probably would have been one of the great bookers of our time. Dad said that he had a tremendous mind for the business.
Dr. Phil Bulgrice is with us. How you doing? Another one of our Insider Nation. Thank you so much, Dr. Phil Bulgrice. Paul is with us, and Paul said, "Greetings, gentlemen. The name that I put forward is Ed." Now, we don't really get
Carpentier.
Carpentier, yep.
That's right, Carpentier. We went through that when you were gone. We went over the world champions, and he's in a great controversy over the world title, and I'm sure we'll get to very shortly with our.
Very good wrestler, by the way. If you've never seen some of his stuff, I have actually. Some of his matches, some of the things you can watch on YouTube of him, and he was tremendous. Was one tremendous,
tremendous shape, and he did some great moves.
All right, hello, Victor Nash. Hello, everyone. My number 90 is Buddy Roberts of the Fabulous Freebirds or the Hollywood Blondes. And in a fierce opponent, the Iceman. No, it's Buddy Roberts' fierce opponent.
Yeah, Iceman King Parsons.
Victor, I guess I should actually read through the whole thing before I get there. So Iceman King Parsons. I go with Iceman. I like the old Iceman. I always enjoyed Iceman King Parsons. I thought he was a great wrestler, great interview skills.
Yes,
as the young folks say, good promo skills.
I'm going to tell you the greatest thing ever. The greatest thing ever said. I remember him saying, he said, "Akbar sends hatred all over my body." I love that.
It's all right. Richard Hood, he's dropping all the way to 70. He says Keith Lee is number 70. I'm going to say the Keith Lee of NXT I would put in 70, but the Keith Lee they brought the Raw, no, I wouldn't put him nowhere on that. Jack, what do you think?
I don't know what's going on. Keith Lee said that in the next couple of weeks, he's going to let people know what's going on with him. I feel like from the get-go, he was wasted when they brought him up, and maybe that's just gotten to him because he's been off for months. My understanding was he was supposed to be, losing weight, and he's like me, he ain't lost none.
But he was so good in NXT, though.
Fantastic.
So good, and then he was the same weight. There was no difference. I don't know. They just killed him. I know, Rodney, you probably don't know who Keith Lee is. Do you know who
I
Keith
sure
Lee
do. Oh, absolutely do. This is when we started watching the show, and I thought he was doing pretty decent when he first got there. Of course, I had not seen him on NXT, so that was the first time I saw him, and I thought he was awesome.
Glenn Allen Shelton said he met him when he was in the American Dragon. Is he talking about Daniel Bryant?
Yeah.
He was the American Dragon, like in Japan, or
no? That was the gimmick he did through all the independents, Ring of Honor, everywhere else that he went. It was Bryan Danielson's his real name, and the American Dragon was kind of his tagline.
Okay, so he didn't wrestle under a mask or nothing. He was just,
he could have, but just from when I became familiar with him, he was without a mask, going under his name, but also identified as the American
Dragon. Very to me, if you go back and watch some of his Ring of Honor stuff, go back and watch even some of his independent stuff. Tremendous.
Do not watch the matches with Kenny Omega. Oh my God,
pretty bad.
Well, Daniel Bryan did the best he could under the circumstance, but Mr. Comedy Hour there, Kenny Omega, I guess he couldn't find a Japanese ragdoll to work with, and so
I will give AEW. I got to give them all their respect in the world. They hit almost 1.2 million people watched their show last week. So I have to give them that. WWE Raw, almost 1.9 million people watch their show. So it's coming up. SmackDown's went down a little bit. I think it was to like 2.3 million. But I have to give it. The wrestling fans are there, and the live crowds have been wild.
Let's not forget that just a few weeks ago, 4th of July weekend, WWE's Raw was 1.4. So they were within a 0.2 of equaling their ratings. So that's pretty significant. Now, I've had to bust a few bubbles because people keep saying AEW is going to overtake WWE in the ratings. And what they don't understand is the ratings and their audience is U.S. based alone. WWE is a worldwide company.
Yeah,
they are. I'm not saying that they won't ever get there, but they ain't going to get there in a year. They probably won't get there in 10 years. Now,
Exactly.
Could they eventually get there? Well, if they, they give somebody a different product besides just an alternative to the same style of wrestling, maybe they can.
All right, number 90 for Mickey Mayfield, Big Red. I liked Big Red. I thought Big Red, it was a great personality. I'm not for certain he was a great wrestler, but he was a great personality and attraction. What are y'all thoughts on Rodney Big Red?
Big Red, tremendous attraction for sure. Not somebody you would want on a regular basis, but certainly one to come in a few weeks and then he would leave and then come back in a few weeks. Mostly, I would think he would be great to enhance one of the big shows. Is what I think of him as.
Jack, what do you think, Big Red?
I agree. I remember, he would bring a lot of excitement, when he would come out and do interviews, and he had a great entrance. Once the bell rang, it kind of went downhill for me. But I mean, he was capable. He wasn't a bad wrestler. He just wasn't a great wrestler, in my opinion. But he brought that entertainment aspect that was needed. He took what he could do and made it the best he could, and I admire that.
And did, I thought, great interviews.
Yes.
Great interviews. He had that interview style, and it was tremendous. So, Daniel Lang, number 90, from Tyrone. Thank you. Iran, the 1968.
Iran. And listen, the only reason I do that is because the Sheik actually corrected me one time. It's not Iran, it's Iran. Iran. Okay.
You stupid America. The 1968 Greco-Roman Olympic wrestler, the master of the camel clutch and the dreaded Persian clubs, and former WWF World Heavyweight Champion, who had his belt stolen by that jabroni Hulk Hogan. Sheiky baby himself, the Iron Sheik. Yes.
He's great.
Yeah.
Daniel's good.
he was always Iron Sheik was. I always loved seeing him. He was always entertaining, no matter what he was going to. He almost did the same thing all the time, but it was always entertaining. Jack, what do you think about Iron Sheik?
Oh, I loved Sheik. He was, I thought he was probably one of the better wrestlers. Who was he great? No, and I understand why he was world champion for that short period. But man, he did his job so well. Yeah. He got heat. He didn't mind getting heat, and there was no limit to how much heat he would go for. And that was great. And behind the scenes, I love being around him. He was just very nice to me, very funny to be around. I just nothing but good memories of Sheik.
And always still living the gimmick. Always living the gimmick. Anytime he's on interviews, he's still living the gimmick. He'll go up there, that jabroni Hulk Hogan. Then at the end of the deal, they might be with Hulk Hogan. He might be cussing them out. And old Hulk will go, I love you, Sheiky. He said, I love you too. He's still living the gimmick, Iron Sheik. So I had to give him that. All right, now, Richard, I don't know what you're thinking. But John Noor, number 72, I'm not for sure I can go with that. I'm sorry. No, I don't know, but
I need what you're drinking.
Yeah, I've got tea in this red Solo cup, and I'm sorry, I'd have to have something more higher than that to be.
We need to talk to Pat Rose, because Pat Rose commented that he had talked to John on the phone, I think yesterday or the day before one.
Oh, okay. Well then, John, we love you, buddy. In case you're watching the big old dude. So yes, he deserves to be on number 70. Rodney, what do you think, John Noor? The Barbarian, by the way. I don't think he was the Barbarian in.
He was the Berserker.
I will have to look on my list to see if he made it. Okay.
Glenn Allen Shelton, he was at the county fair in Trenton, Tennessee. He stated he would be in the WWE one day. This was about 2004, old Daniel Bryant. Number 9, Charles Charles Bell, Abe Jacobs. And I will go with Abe.
Yes.
Always loved Abe. Abe was just solid wrestler. Always was entertaining, no matter what. He was entertaining. Even as he got older, he was entertaining. He could entertain the fans like no other. Jack, Abe Jacobs.
I never got the opportunity to see him live. I know Mike Mooneyham thinks the world of him, and that's good enough for me.
Rodney? AJ.
Abe Jacobs. He was awesome.
He was.
He was very unique. Absolutely very unique in his approach.
All right, I don't know. I don't know who this next person is. I think Richard is on the sauce tonight. I believe he might be on the sauce. Because who is Dory Dixon? Who's Dory Dixon?
Oh, Dory Dixon, African-American wrestler. He was great back in his day. Another one of those guys with a tremendous physique.
I never seen him. Is there any video?
Look him up, Brent.
Yeah. There is video. I got to write him down. I've never heard of the guy. Yeah. And my years wrestling, I never heard of him. So I'll have to look him up. But I didn't even know who he was. I thought he was making up some name somewhere. Glenn Allen Shelton, he wrestled for us a few times when still helping. Victor Nash, Boris Malenko, and Bob Roop Jr. Is he talking about Bob Orton Jr.? Or Bob Roop and Bob Orton Jr. trained Buddy Landale? Well, I mean, they did a good job with them. I have to give them that. We talk about them in length, by the way. The wrestling war of Knoxville. So if you get there. Doug Furness is in my top 80s to 90 bracket. Oh, by the way,
are y'all at the same bar, Michael? I'm just wondering.
By the way, I don't even want to say nothing about it, but I was at one point. I was showing Jack and them this at one point when I was about maybe 6 years old. I was the Georgia heavyweight champion, and there's the proof is in the pudding here. There I am with the Georgia. Wait a minute. There I am with the Georgia heavyweight championship. Now the picture looks like it could be blurry. It was actually blurry. That's the kind of cameras we had back in those days. But there I am with the Georgia, and look at those pants. I'm telling you, that's Georgia heavyweight title. Eventually became the Georgia television title, by the way.
I had pants like that, but I burned them.
I think they might have been bell bottoms. I'm not for sure.
Of course.
We're not going to talk about Doug Furness. We're going to go past Doug Furness in the top.
He is on one of my lists, by the way.
Richard Hood is Tyree Pride, number 6.
Yeah,
I will go for that. Tyree Pride was over in Bahamas. Big time over in the Bahamas. You would get killed if you did something to Tyree Pride in the Bahamas or anywhere in that area in the Caribbean or Caribbean, however you say it. Tremendous. Jack, Tyree Pride.
I got to see him a few times. I think he worked for WCW for a little while, and but I thought he was tremendous talent.
Yeah, Kevin Sullivan loved him, so it was probably during that time. Tyree Pride, Rodney.
Oh, he was awesome. It was really, really good.
A little small guy,
yeah.
But man, he could work, and he was over. He could get himself over.
I believe he was lifelong the Bahamas champion.
I think he was too. Probably still the Bahamas champion to this day. Probably still the champ. Rick Brooks is with us. How you doing, Rick? Tyrone Spivey is with us. Hello, guys. Andy McDaniel is with us. Appreciate you guys.
Hey.
You all are well. If you've not seen them, they're all available on YouTube. Great stories. Andy McDaniel tells you about Jim Crockett Promotions in wrestling and a great book, by the way.
Yes.
It is Rod. I think Rodney's got it back there.
Right there.
Yeah, and you can get it at Amazon. What's the name of the book again, Rodney?
It is Reunion at County Hall. I believe
at County Hall.
Andy, did you get the video ready? Is the video ready?
He did show some of that video on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook. I believe it was Facebook. He showed it.
Okay.
Stuart Kemp. Hello from West Coast. Going to be hot this weekend. We are 91 today. Supposed to be 98 by Friday.
We'll be 98 tomorrow.
Yep. Here in Alabama too. Summer has hit us like a freight train.
89, that's code. Here it's 101. Glenn.
Yeah, it'll be 82, I think, on Monday, I believe, and we'll be getting out the jackets.
All right, now Chris is saying the great what?
Klashinsky. Yeah.
All right, now Chris, is this a real person?
I'm not even looking that up, Chris.
Victor Nash is in Miami. It's 91 in Miami right now. Whoa.
Wow. Hotter in Alabama than it is in Miami. That's hard to believe.
European wrestler from Poland. Let's see who that is. Chris was saying. It's the Shockmaster on Rodney's top 100.
He is on a top 100 list, just not on the one that we're going over. He actually is right there with Doug Furnace and Kevin Sullivan on the other list. Whatever.
Jack, Shockmaster on your list.
Hey, I love the guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, I talked to him the other day. He may do the show for too long.
He's a great guy. Rodney won't be there.
Why not? If it only it takes a wall to take him out, why not?
Funniest thing ever.
It wasn't the wall. It was that 2x4 down at the bottom.
And that helmet falling off.
I don't think David Crockett wanted him to get over. I think that's the guy that put the put the board in front of there. Funny stuff. Though. That was so funny watching it live on television. It was so funny, but man, the gimmick wouldn't have got over anyway. It had nothing to do with him. The gimmick was just stupid. I don't know who come up with it. I guess Dusty did, but I mean, it looked like he was Darth Vader. It was horrible. That's another story.
He was one of the super stormtroopers from Star Wars.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Charles said Bobby Shane had a small white dog he brought to the matches one night, but not to the ring. I saw him when he came in the building. We used to bring our dog there too. One time that dog got out and ran into the building and tried to climb into the ring.
Yes, it did.
And Robert Fuller said he thought about he said, I thought the dog was coming for the save, so I was fixing to kick it. So I said, boy, I bet you wouldn't have left that
would have been
building.
The worst mistake he ever made.
I remember when the Steiners brought their Rottweilers to a show and then wanted me to watch them, and I told them where they could put those dogs.
Daniel Bryant is easily his top 10. My number 90 would be Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter, tremendous wrestler. If you've not seen Sergeant Slaughter, if you've not watched him wrestle, go back and watch tapes. Not as much the WWF stuff, but the stuff when he wrestled in the Carolinas.
Yeah.
That is gold, by the way. That stuff is so good. Sergeant Slaughter, Jack.
I thought he was great. I had the opportunity to meet him a few times. Just a really nice guy. When I met him, he was full into the G.I. Joe thing. He had already left WWE over that dispute and was working a lot of independent stuff. So everything was G.I. Joe on his tights and everything. And you talk about a guy that was over. We were on a show in Savannah, Georgia, and he sold that place out. Him. Because there's nobody else on the card. Anybody even knew who they were. Except, well, Jules Strombo. So you can tell how that crowd drew. But he drew. And he had a really good match that night. I mean, like I say, just a great guy.
By the way, who was Jules Strombo?
He did, him and
I know Jay Strombo was
supposed to be brothers, but I don't really know, who he was, especially since Jay was Italian.
They were Italian. They were the Italian Indians. That's what they're.
Well, the Youngbloods are too. So,
Rodney Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, he was awesome. I mean, a tremendous wrestler, tremendous draw, no matter where he went. Really set off the Carolinas, and then when he went to the WWF that first time, and he beat Bob Backlund. I believe people were cheering with the riding crop. Just awesome. And then later on against the Sheik, there's no better than Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, Glenn Allen said that is Vince Cross loses Jeff Hardy. What's that mean?
Karrion Kross, who is the NXT champion, debuted on Raw a couple of weeks ago, and in just a matter of 3 minutes, I believe, lost to Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the rest
of course. Well, but the internet exploded.
Oh, okay.
And there's not a lot of people out there that understand the wrestling business. And I tried to explain to a few, and I just put my hands up, just gave up. But yeah, they don't understand that, they're laying groundwork for something. And then last night he beat Cross beat Keith Lee pretty soundedly. And then, but now he was, it's come out supposedly that he was supposed to wrestle Hardy again and lose yet again. And of course, we understand where this is going. But anyway, the stick up on that was Hardy has now tested positive for COVID. So he's going to be out for a couple more weeks before he can come back.
Well, there's nothing wrong. There's always a storyline. So stick with it. You'll see where it's going to go.
I think probably the biggest gripe comes from the fact that WWE fumbles so many storylines.
This is true.
So I can see their point.
Yeah, well, there's telling either Jeff could have made somebody mad to beat him. I don't know, because Jeff does have a history of making people mad, so it could happen. Pepper Gomez in the top 100. I never saw Pepper Gomez wrestle, but I did hear about him through the grapevine for many years, and I heard he was very good. Glenn Allen Shelton said, Daniel Bryant did wrestle under no mask a few times. So Stuart Kemp said we used him as the American Dragon. He didn't wrestle with a mask. He walked out to the ring with a mask on and then took it off.
Good deal.
Right there.
I had a vague memory of that, but I couldn't say for sure.
Michael said the one-man gang. Akeem, the African Dream, number 9. I loved him. I never saw. I just recently watched the UWF when he was called Panama. I think he was called Panama Gang.
Yeah,
that was his name. And I thought he was very good at doing the interviews. He was the manager for. I can't remember who's the manager for, but tremendous stuff. Tremendous stuff. One man gang, Rodney.
Yeah, one man game. He was very good. Big man. He could move. I think though for me, the one man gang was what made him.
I agree. Jack, one man gang.
Yeah, George is a great guy, and I always loved watching because for a guy his size, he was able to do just about anything. I mean, he'd go in there and he could last. He had a lot of gas in the tank and knew what he was doing. Understood his gimmick, which not a lot of guys understood.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah,
he embraced that, especially that Akeem thing. I mean, he took that on and made it something.
Terry Taylor needed to watch him.
Yeah.
He needed to watch him. How he took it and made it work. Because he did make it work. To me, he made that work so good. He was so good at it. His interviews was so tremendous. But even as a one-man gang, we watched him in Fort Polk, Louisiana, packed house, and Jim Duggan hit him, and he was just right on there to fall over the top rope, and Duggan kept on hitting him. He kept on holding, kept on hitting, and boy, when Duggan finally hit him, and he went off and hit that ground, the place went nuts, and and they never sat down after that. The people were with that match the whole time. Jim Duggan was over though in Louisiana. Shelton Benjamin could be much higher. I think Shelton Benjamin is a great professional wrestler. Now, did he make my list? No, but he is very good. I have to give him. He does know what he's doing.
I'm going to tell you the very reason and the only reason that Shelton Benjamin doesn't make my top 100 is just because of the way he's been misused his entire career.
Yes,
right. The guy can talk. Probably one of the most in shape guys I have ever seen. Can do anything, but they just like last night, he lost in a handicap match, and I just don't get why they can't do something with a guy of that caliber.
Yeah, Rodney Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, he's really, really good. He has really upset somebody up there for sure. There's no doubt he's upset somebody.
Glenn Allen said it's something fresh, AEW.
At times, I'll be honest with you, over the last month and a half, I've seen more emphasis on actual storylines and character development, and I have really appreciated that. And I will sit and with AEW on with my iPad, and something, if the crowd screams real loud, I might look over at it, but I watch just enough to see the basics. But the last few weeks, I have actually sat and watched it. It's been pretty good.
I will have to take and watch one episode and see what I think at some point. Where's it at again? TNT or TBS?
For now, they don't go to TBS. I don't think till January or February.
Wait a minute, Sweet Daddy Sika. Yes, I always like old Sweet Daddy Sika.
There's a great
make my top 100 list.
There's a great documentary on him that's available through Amazon Prime. Really fantastic.
I need to watch that. I need to watch that. I enjoyed it. Rodney, what do you think? Sweet Daddy Sika.
Yeah, I haven't seen. We never did see him live. The last time I saw him seemed to be on Memphis TV. He was there for a few weeks.
Who would win? Donovan Graham asked who would win between Ken Lucas and Bill Dundee. Well, if we're talking about a shoot, I give that probably a draw on that. They're both pretty tough. Both of them tough wrestlers and understood the wrestling business, and probably knew how to shoot with each other. So that might be a draw. What do y'all think?
I'd have to agree with that. Bill may not be big, but by golly, that's one of the toughest son of a guns I have ever known.
Yes, Rodney.
Yeah, he'd fight you, no doubt.
Yep.
How do y'all feel about Finn Balor? I think he's tremendous wrestler. I don't know that he'll ever get the push that he deserves, though. What do you think, Jack?
Right there with you. I think when they made him the first Universal Champion, I thought that was a great choice. I think he would have been great, but then he got hurt in the process of winning the belt. And when he came back, I don't know if Vince just lost faith in him. I don't know what happened, but he's just never allowed him in that top position again. And he's fixing to wrestle. I forgot which world champion he's working at the next pay-per-view. But anyway, he's getting a title shot. But that's just a stepping stone for that champion to retain and go on to the SummerSlam, which I think is a shame because the guy could carry a company. He really could.
Yeah, he's very good. Rodney, have you seen Finn Balor?
No. Well,
very good. NXT, by the way.
I might have fast forward, just didn't see his name as it was coming up. So
he's very good. Had some great matches on NXT.
He's not a big guy. And that may be one thing that Vince pulls back about it. Again, I don't know.
Leroy Brown, top 100, Richard Hood.
Yeah.
I love Leroy Brown. Great character. I wouldn't put him in the top 100, and I would not take him on a trip with us. I wouldn't do that. He'd sleep the whole time he's there. I think he fell asleep sometimes at ringside during tag team matches. I think he's like to sleep. I think he had that disease that you just fall asleep at every place you went.
Narcolepsy.
Yeah, he must have had that. Nice guy, though. For
very
the 2
nice.
minutes that
very
you got
nice.
to talk with him.
Yep.
What about Leroy Brown on y'all's top 100?
No, didn't make my top 100. I met him a couple times. Really fun guy to be around in the locker room, but no, not top 100.
Rodney?
Nothing against him.
Leroy Brown?
Could or could not be.
Now, he's bad. Leroy Brown is the baddest man in the whole town. There's probably something else in there.
Dang. It's a D word.
Ray Candy. I love Ray Candy. The Candy Man, Ray Candy. I enjoyed him. Also loved him as Kareem Mohammed.
That's right.
Half of the Zambui Express. I loved Ray Candy. Ray Candy knew what he was doing in the ring. He had the ability in the ring. I will agree with you. Ray Candy belongs in the top 100. I don't know if the top 10, but he does deserve to be in the top 100. Jack, Ray Candy, the Candy Man.
Oh, I like Ray. I really thought he had a great character, very, very personable, had a great connection to the fans, which is, very, very important. And for a big guy, he could do some stuff.
Yeah, he could. He could. I saw something where he like won a world title. I can't remember the name of the company. It was an independent group, and it was right at the end of Ray Candy. I think he died. About 15 years ago? I'm gathering. But tremendous match with the guy. And I just don't, at this point, I can't remember who he worked against. But every time I watch something else, I forget what I watched the first time. I only have a certain amount of room now in my brain. Colton said AEW ratings will shoot through the roof, come all out with the signing of the appearance of CM Punk. I believe it will help them. But he better have good storylines, or it'll be just like as Sting being signed. If you're only as good as what the bookers or the writers have for you, and if it's not any good, then they'll just be paying him a couple of $1 million a year just to bring in 100,000 people. Larry Hamilton in the top 10. Yes, I agree with you, and we still got to get Larry Hamilton on here and talk with him.
That'd be great.
Glenn Allen Shelton said Michael was NWA convention in Nashville. They were England outside room about 3. What? Am I lost on something there?
I'm not following that either.
All right, we'll just go past that because we don't know what that means. It's crazy how the live audiences are just returning, but COVID-19 is getting stronger as well. So I believe WWE will have to go back to Thunderdome. Assume there's no doubt that there's a possibility that will happen. We hope it does not happen, but there's a possibility. George Lambert, our people might know as Ben Masters. We use Big Red on a lot of shoes. I think he meant shows. And Les, he's saying it.
With George, you never know.
Some really big shoes. So maybe that's what he meant. Finn. The Finn that group could drink. Oh, I get you now. They could read. Big Red always happy is what Ben Masters said. He was always really happy. There's no doubt he was a pretty happy guy.
He was very impressive too. He was very impressive. And he could move.
Michael Barr says he has become a mask heel now.
Now the only change is that he's wearing a mask now.
That's
right. Do you remember a wrestler named Big O? And he looked like Ernie Ladd. Yes, and he was trying to be a little bit like Sweet Daddy Sika, wasn't he?
Yep. I wrestled Big O from Ted Allen, Rome, Georgia.
Richard said he does not make up names. Let's see. A public service announcement. NXT will be Sci-Fi Network the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, they're getting bumped for the Olympics.
Victor Nash said Tyree Pride was in Florida as well. He was over in Florida. He really was. Andy McDaniel said his video is getting close to being ready, and we'll let everyone know about that when it is ready. But if you've not got the book, get the book at Amazon.com. Once again, Rodney, tell the name of the book.
It is Reunion at County Hall.
Very good book. Get that book. You'll enjoy it. Ben Masters also, or George, I went to Bahamas for Larry Hamilton. James, Casey, living the dream, smoking a good cigar, adult beverage, and listening to y'all. All right. Well, thank you so much. And that's it. Sometimes adult beverage is how you enjoy it. I mean, that's just the way that goes. Let's see. Top 100, the California hippie, Mike Boyette. Yes. I never really saw him until years later, and he was very good.
Yep.
Even when he was in Memphis. I don't think he was doing the California hippie thing at the time, but he was really good in Memphis. Didn't he wrestle as the some kind of the Alcapus or something like that, some kind of
Apocalypse
mercenary or something? And Jim Cornette managed
Apocalypse, wasn't it?
Apocalypse. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Wasn't he the one that did that? I'm thinking it was.
We'll have to leave it to your expertise.
Well, I'm just reason I ask. I don't know. Another name, Yukon Eric, lost his ear to Killer Kowalski, so he was the first Mike Tyson. Brett Sawyer in the top 100. I like Brett Sawyer, but he probably never make my top 100. Great wrestler though.
Yeah,
very impressive.
Well, it just ain't right, Brent, that he's not on your list.
Victor Nash said Rodney Terry Taylor is Rodney's top 5.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're exactly right. Not on this list, but on another list. He really is.
My number 90 is Bulldog Don Kent. Oh, he was good. Man, he was good. I mean, he was tremendous in the ring. There ain't no doubt. Y'all are hating on Dusty's brother-in-law. Good man. No. We're not hating on him.
It's just Rodney. It's just Rodney. I love Fred.
This is the thing. This is what we're saying. We're not saying that he was not a good wrestler, but not in the top 100. And he could probably even tell you he probably wasn't in the top 100 when you're making. If he made his list, I don't even think he put himself on the list. I don't. There's some people that wouldn't put themselves on the list. Now, Ric Flair would put himself on the list in a minute. But there's some people that say, well, I was a good wrestler. But we're just saying he's not top 100, but he is top wrestler. He could be top 300. So I'm going to give him that. It's just there's so many other people that had a longer career or drew a lot of more money. So we're not hating on them. We just
I just think Bobby Heenan's name for him, calling him the slug boat, was right on.
Sarge be higher for me. Kernoodle is great. Yeah, Kernoodle was a tremendous wrestler.
Right.
And their tag team was awesome.
Yes.
Victor Nash, did you guys? Ivan Koloff was actually Canadian, not Russian. Yes. Yeah, and we found that out many years ago when we ran into Ivan Koloff, and we ran into him at the store, and Ivan was talking, and me and Rodney was like, he's talking to Dad, and we said, wait a minute. Now.
Yes.
Evidently, he's not Russian. Now, I didn't get that he was Canadian either, so that was the thing.
We knew that Alexis Smirnoff was because he gave us a big lecture. We was at the steakhouse in Columbus, Georgia, and he gave us a big lecture on how we should be appreciative of our steaks. And then he continues, and it won't be long until steak will be like Thanksgiving. It won't be something that people will have, just very special occasions. And so he walked off, and we said, "We'll see you later tonight." Dad said, "Well, we'll see you tonight at the show." And I asked Dad, I said, "What was that about?" He said, "Shut up, eat."
Skip Young, I love Skip Young. Tremendous. He was tremendous. Yep. Let's throw some of these through, and because we're running out of time. Captain Lou Albano told a story. I'll have to just turn this off because Captain Lou told a story that he bet someone once that he could make a champion out of any big man. So the person he bet with produced a very large guy. So Lou took him and trained him for a week. As the wrestler was entering the ring, he tripped over the ropes and he was knocked out. He never named either person, so not sure if it's true or not. I can see that happening. Simon is with us. Simon, good evening. Okay, the Mighty Igor was Mexican. The Mighty Igor. Mickey Mayfield said, Jules Strombo. Man, sakes alive. This is T, by the way. Jules Strombo started out as a tag partner with Wally McDaniel in the old AWA before learning he was Jay Strombo's brother. He also wrestled as Frank Runninghill.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, we are running out of time. We're going to have to call it quits right now. And for those of you who are part of our supporters, we're going over there right now. We're going to talk about Southern Championship Wrestling. And for Richard Hood, we're going to talk about Pro Wrestling USA. And so that's so if you want to be a supporter, all you have to do is go to the top of the Facebook page, $2.99 a month. A lot of stuff coming. We do a lot of stuff different now on our supporter page, but you're going to enjoy what we got coming up. Jack, anything else we need to talk about before we leave?
Update real quick. Bobby Eaton, I believe, was supposed to go to rehab yesterday. Not sure how long he's going to be there, but he is getting better, which is great. And Jody Hamilton, the assassin. There you go. Is recovering. He had been in ICU for about a week, and he's in a room. He told his son the other day to come get him the what out of there. He was tired of being there. So,
Rodney, anything we need to talk about?
Victor wants to remind us don't to forget about Pro Wrestling Tees. He was very concerned about that.
Yes, prowrestlingtees.com/pro wrestling inside now. You can get any t-shirts, and we are working on some new ones. So hopefully we'll get them out pretty soon. Thank each and every one of you for being a part of the show. We will see everyone next Monday night. Don't forget also about Pro Wrestling Inside Out's first show that we're going to produce live in Lafayette, Georgia at the Rec Center on Friday, October 8th. And Jack put us together a video on that. We'll close it with that. Thank you so much, and we'll see everyone next week. Thank you so much.